Hello, my friends. Jacobs here one more time. Thank you all for press and play, for spending a little wonderful time with me as we talk about the incredible leaders of tomorrow, which we have so many of them to talk about. We got our president himself, President Joe Biden, finally going over and visiting and, letting people know how sad it is over in Lahaina. And the moment he stepped out, I guess he got distracted by a dog. And next thing you know, he was cracking jokes about the ground being still hot, which is, a little bit insensitive considering how many people lost their lives and how terrible it is. But, listen, people are just talking about how he's just an older guy. He's an older guy and no harm, no foul, even though he gave a story. He gave a story, by the way. About how I guess his house almost burnt down. There was like lightning struck something, and he almost lost his Corvette, and he almost lost his wife, and he kind of made it out like it was a terrifying, terrible thing, but I guess fact checkers fact-checked him and said it was really just kind of a small little kitchen fire and it was contained. But, it's not like he fell asleep or anything when they were honoring the victims. I think he did. I think he fell asleep or he was pondering something. And, this is what makes our lives very comical, because we think to ourselves, we're trying so hard just to get through each day, and everything, it seems to be getting harder and harder and harder. And it's all too much. Before we get into this amazing, mind-blowing show, which is going to pull back just the curtain, the veil, over so many things. It's like, it's never ending. It's never ending. Yeah, it's never ending. As I'm taping this show, we got like three major news breaking, right? India just landed on the moon, becoming the fourth country to do so. And their craft looks like something out of the video game Gattaca.
And we are nearing and approaching the lunar surface.
जी हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
Gattaca, or the game where you pew 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 pew. It looks that's what they got, and they said that they saved a lot of money. They saved a lot of money probably on their graphics team. I'm not saying it's not real. It just doesn't look real. Remember Elon, when he put the car up into space, he goes, "We know that it's real because it doesn't look real." Everybody's a liar today. Who do we trust? Who do we believe? They had the big Republican debate, of course, except for, Trump wasn't there because he was with Tucker, and they aired their big Tucker on Twitter, which, by the way, I said he was going to be the face of Twitter. I did say that, and he became the face of Twitter. Tucker on Twitter, he does this big thing with Trump at 8:55, and at the end it says text. It says text Tucker at 44 and then 055. It's 8:55. 5 minutes before the debate goes down. It's been viewed like over 170 million times. It's like record-breaking, that interview, which everything just seems empty to me. Everything. The debate, which went down, which was just, it was just really, these are the best choices. I'm bored with everything. I don't know about you. I'm more excited about the things I'm about to talk about than this debate. The debate that went down where Ron DeSantis, he was like lost. That was the thing. And, when they asked the question, they're like, will you support, to Trump if he's indicted? And like Vivek was the very first person. We're going to talk about Vivek on today's show. He like raised his hand quick, and then DeSantis is like, oh, I better jump in. And then he raised his hand. And then, of course, Chris Christie was the last one. He was like, yeah, me. I support him too. Everybody's a liar. Nobody it seems to be somebody that we can trust. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm definitely tired. But I'll tell you one thing, the rest of the show is going to cheer me up. So do me a favor, hit the like button, will you? Subscribe, share, help me out, will you? I appreciate it. We have all of these people that are supposedly running the show, and they're weird. A lot of them are weird. Like, I don't want to put this guy down. What's his name? Vivek Ramaswamy? This guy who Elon was all tweeting about, making it out like he's very interesting young man. The young man who, I don't know if you saw, he was doing Eminem. I don't know if it was like a barbecue or something, but he was doing Eminem, and people were saying, hey, it was pretty good. Other people were saying it's not that bad. And I'm thinking, you're a presidential candidate, and you're doing Eminem, and you know all of his songs by heart. Okay, I get it. Eminem, when I guess, I used to listen to it too. I'm not saying it's a terrible thing. It's not like I'm saying, he didn't then spend a bunch of time posting shirtless, topless selfies of himself. He didn't do that. No. He just did a whole video where he's playing tennis. And he says, I'm practicing for the debate. And he's just hitting one ball after another ball after another ball. He's got his shirt off. And he's got his shirt off. And people are like, it's great. Yeah, we should just be doing that. And I'm thinking, yeah, but he's like a candidate for president. He's a candidate for president. We got president falling asleep saying really terrible things, who's connected to all sorts of nonsense that we're biding our time until we find out everything. And I think it's going to be shocking. Then we got this other guy. He's just doing workout videos like he's an influencer. All of a sudden, that was this morning. He was doing jump squats with his debate partner or something. And he just kind of looks a little silly doing it. I mean, he's going way too high. His form's really off. I mean, who said to him that this is the way you're going to win the nation? By doing Eminem and playing tennis with your shirt off. It's just a weird look for like a 30-something-year-old guy. But, whatever. It's not like he's, facing criminal charges and being indicted and all sorts of stuff that's going on with the Trumpster, who, by the way, has the new thing is he has immunity. So it doesn't look like he's going to be, you think? Do you think he's going to serve some time? Anybody on here think he's going to really serve some time? I don't think so. I think that this whole thing is just, we're watching a movie. We're watching a really interesting movie, and the plot isn't that great, and it's gotten a little ridiculous. It's gotten a little silly. But he's saying that he has immunity. I'll tell you the things that I do find strange, though. Was like there was some video going around of the army went down there. Yeah, the army went down to help out, and some people were making a big deal over this patch, that patch right there, and they're like, "This is proof that the Trumpster's still in charge." And that and that's his army. That's his private army. Some people are saying that, or some people are alluding to that, or I don't know, maybe in my imagination. But it does kind of look like Trump on the patch. I tried to do some research to try to figure this out and understand why these servicemen and women were wearing what would seem to be the Trumpster on their arm, but I couldn't make hide nor tail of it. But I do know that a week after the wildfire tore through Lahaina, that Army General Charles A. Flynn, who's commanding general of the U.S. Army Pacific, arrived in Maui, where he met with the command element, Combined Joint Task Force 50. And all of them, they had this interesting patch. I don't know what it means, but it certainly adds a little bit of interest, doesn't it? Speaking of patches, did you see we were just talking, we did the 200,000 anniversary special on the show. We had the celebration show that I first shared with Patreon, and then I shared with everybody else. And of course, I had a bunch of guests on. Leak Project was on there, Rex Bear, and Rex pointed out some interesting things, because you're talking about weird logos and patches. The new Space Force, fearsome U.S. Space Force Squadron, well, they got a spooky logo. Yeah, it's the Grim Reaper. Huh? Yeah? People forget that I've been talking about the Grim Reaper for a while. All going back to the coronation. Do you remember the coronation? Coronation of King Charles, where the Grim Reaper showed up out of the blue, just walking in the back. I put Grim Reapers in every thumbnail for the next week too, because Grim Reapers, there seems to be a theme. Now the 75th Intelligence Surveillance Reconnaissance Squadron, which is ISRS, has been launched with a terrifying insignia depicting a skeletal Grim Reaper, which signifies the demise of any adversary the squadron would target from space. Enemy satellites. That's what they're going after. Blasting stuff from space, perhaps. A lot of people all of a sudden making a big deal over lasers that are blue, too. A Willing Witness put out a video, and he had like another one, like got millions of views over this laser here that, for whatever reason, it doesn't target blue material or something. I don't know, but like that's a thing now. Everybody's trying to, say, oh, well, there was a blue boat and there was a blue car and this didn't catch fire. And I don't know the ins and the outs of this stuff. I'm not studying space lasers, Maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's not. I will say that it is strange that The Simpsons, the very same episode that seemed to predict the terrible fires in Lahaina, also seemed to be the one that says that the color blue is impervious, as it saved their statue. And they were very happy about that. It's just strange. The color blue is very synonymous, by the way, with the throne of God, sapphire. If I was to draw any parallel, I would think to myself, well, maybe blue is symbolic of those that are sealed by God, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, royal guest and servant of God, which is what their names mean. I don't mean blue-blooded like the blood of a horseshoe crab, which they use for anti-aging and everything else, but the whole thing about being blue perhaps has more to do with God than we know. But everybody else wants to talk about what's blue. Say a peculiar blue bird sent me a DM which said, just said Taylor Swift has 6 new blue outfits. And I thought, oh, there's got to be something, right? There's got to be something that is blue everywhere. Blue moon. Do, 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 do. Hey, you know who Lana Del Rey is? Speaking of singing, speaking of singers, Lana Del Rey, she's, she showed up with Jared Leto at one of those events looking all like the Virgin Mary, all spooky with a bunch of swords in her heart. But Lana Del Rey, she's a great musician, great singer, and she was at a concert and everybody was like, it was an energy wave. It struck down everybody in the audience. Everybody kind of just like fell back. It was like the Holy Ghost took them over. That's what people were saying, which I think is interesting because this is something that kind of takes root and people are like, oh yeah, maybe there's something to it. Or maybe just a bunch of people fell, and because it was really crowded, more and more people fell. This happens in concerts. But hey, energy wave, it could be. But Lana Del Rey with the Virgin Mary symbolism, it's interesting. It's interesting too, because we were just talking about Peru, and if you didn't see that show, you probably should, just because there were a bunch of people that showed up on it. But Rex was pointing out that there's a lot of stuff going down with Peru. The giant aliens, the gold miners that have the jetpacks we've talked about on the show. Well, he said that there was a big deal with the Space Force. The two of them came together, and then people were pointing out that Peru, a lot of stuff happens in Peru, and that Pachamama, remember Pachamama? That's their goddess. And if you remember, I did shows about the Vatican, Pope Francis, where they had the idol, the Pachamama idol, and there was a big scandal because, of course, they were bringing it was idol worship into, the Catholic Church. Some priests and others were up in arms about it. One guy actually went so far as to steal the idol and then throw it in the river, which it was later recovered and then restored. But that's the Peruvian god. That's the thing. There's a lot of interesting, weird, alien connections to the Vatican. Even the word Vatican comes from Vaticus, which is like another pagan goddess. It's very strange. Very strange, all this stuff that's connected to Peru. Transformers movie, The Rise of the Beast, Rex pointed out. And I pointed out that it was a strange thing that I was talking about. But this is the day that we're in. Things are just weird. They're just weird. You got presidential candidates taking off their shirts and doing, leapfrogs with whoever. It's a strange day. Everybody's up in arms because for a little while the idea that the block feature would be gone. Everybody was freaking out about the block feature. Everybody. And I said, because I was thinking, what if really subconsciously this is Elon's way of just trying to make the world a better place? I say this, I don't know the man's heart, but what if subconsciously he's like, I want to get rid of the block feature. I want to take away all the walls that stand between us, and I want people to talk and to love each other. I mean, it's probably going a bit far. It probably has more to do with advertising revenue and stuff like that and data collection, perhaps. But what do I know? I'm a nobody man. That's right. That God has chosen to be his champion. Because if anything ever gets accomplished through me in this channel, it's clearly because of God. It has nothing to do with this guy right here. Nothing to do with me. I'm a meatball. Yes, like everybody was posting cat turd, whoever cat turd is on Twitter was like, I was blocked, I can't believe it. Another person, I was blocked, I can't believe it. Elon was like going on a block fest. So you know what I did? I took somebody else's block thing and I said, I can't believe that Elon would ever block me. And I put it up there to make everybody think that I got blocked. But really what I was saying is he would never block me, because to block me would be to acknowledge that he watches the show. And if he acknowledged that he watched the show and then he blocked me, that would lend credibility to the things that I say, and then more people would hear it. And God forbid should the truth get out. We know you're watching, Elon. We know you can't help yourself. That's okay. He didn't block me though, but he blocked a lot of people. I don't know what the message is, but I'm telling you, it's not God's message, because God says, look, he says this in the book of Revelation. He says, I will open a door that no one will shut. That's right. He also says, I can shut a door that no one will open. How about them apples? From the book of Revelation. This is what he talks to the church of Philadelphia, which means brotherly love. This was a message given to the angel of the church of Philadelphia, meaning the messenger. And it says, these are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I've placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you've kept my word, you've not denied my name. Are you from the city of brotherly love? Is this a message to you? That's God saying, I opened the door no one can shut. I know you're weak right now, but don't worry. Is this you? I know you have little strength, but you've kept my word. You've kept the truth. You've loved people. You've forgiven. You've done the right thing. You haven't denied my name, which that Greek word name means nature. You haven't denied the nature, which is God, which is love and peace and unity and joy. I know this, God is saying. He says to the messengers of brotherly love, this is what God is saying. And you know what he's saying to the people that aren't? Listen to this. He says, I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but they are liars, I'll make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. Since you've kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole of the earth to test the inhabitants of the land thereof. I'm coming soon. Hold on to what you have. Hold on to what you have, so that no one will take your crown. The one who is victorious, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Never again will they leave it. I will write on them the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, New Jerusalem, which is coming down out of heaven from God. And I will write on them my new name. Whoever has ears, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches of brotherly love. Big things are happening spiritually. Big things. I've been on a red-haired kick. I've been talking about it a lot on the show. You know what I forgot to tell you all about was those red-haired heifers. They're in preparation right now. This is a big thing. This hasn't happened in like 2,000 years. They're without blemish and without spot, but they gotta be like 3 years old. Right now they're about 2 years old. This is a big thing, because this would be like the Messiah taking over, supposedly, in the world. Some people are gonna say that that's not the real thing. that it's the Antichrist, and maybe it is. You gotta tell me. But the fact that it's literally happening in the world is definitely telling us something. Something's coming, people. Something wonderful and something amazing, but also something very, very troubling. Something that's going to test all the inhabitants of the land thereof. But don't worry if you're one of those wonderful people from those cities called brotherly love. I love each and every one of you. Will you do me a favor? Will you hit the like button? Will you subscribe? Will you share? Hey, and by the way, I know that a lot of you are you're going to trulyfreehome.com, and I've heard so many wonderful things, and I'm really super excited. They're the only sponsor I've ever had, and I'm just really excited to share them with you. I hope that you all can check out their website right here. You just go and you look, they got everything, right? And we're talking stay away from the chemicals, stay away from the toxins, stay away from like stuff that's made terribly and inhumanely, and stuff that's dedicated to the things of God. This is a company that you're going to want to get behind. You want to save some money too? You use code Jacob, 30% off. Get your soap, get your dish detergent, they probably got they got everything. They got everything there. Go to trulyfreehome.com. Check it out. If you want to get yourself some of the merch, all the links to everything that I talk about in the show are in the description of the video below. I'm grateful that you stick around for these plugs because they're helpful. If you want to get a copy of The Calling, my novel, it's, of course, Amazon.com. Anywhere else you can get it. But there, if you do get it, please do leave me a review. Tell the world about what you're hearing here. Please share it around. Help me, because we're doing this together. We hit 200,000. But that's not the end, right? Especially the days that are coming. It's huge. And we're going to need good leaders. People that aren't going to be, I don't know, playing tennis with their shirts off, maybe. All right. Listen, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the East to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, it may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling.